Hello and welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm doing something a little bit different. It's gonna be a little bit more relaxed. We're just gonna be doing some studio things to help prepare me for this year's Inktober. This is my first time ever doing Inktober, like ever in my life. But never partook in it myself. I just couldn't commit to 30 days of art, really. Today we're going to be preparing for that, and also I just want to give you some information about how I'm going to be doing Inktober this year. So for our agenda for this video, first I'm going to be prepping my paper. As you can see right here, I have like 16 pieces of watercolor paper. I'm going to be cutting them in half, and then one half will be one day's paper. I just wanted to cut it all and do it all in one go, so that way, you know, as inspiration strikes, I can just jump in and go. I don't have to worry about prepping my paper, and I also want to make sure every piece is the same size. So we're just going to do that all at once, and I'm going to be traveling in October. I want to make sure I'm using smaller pieces so that as I'm traveling, it's not a big, you know, pain in the butt to travel with full-size like sheets of paper. And then next on the agenda is for me to look at the Inktober prompt list for the first time. I've glanced at it but didn't read anything because I just want to make sure that it was available this early into September, and do some pre-sketches, do some pre-planning. I think it would be too much for me if every day I sat down, had to come up with an idea, draw that idea, and do it. Because like I said, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where people tackle Inktober, and they always get burnt out halfway through and they don't have any new creative ideas. So I'm going to try and get a jump start on that process by doing some of that while it's still September. Let's go ahead and let's jump into prepping this paper, cutting it in half. Alright, so voiceover Izzy has entered the chat. So as you can see, it took me, it was a little tedious, and it took me a minute to cut all of the watercolor paper in half, just because watercolor paper is a little bit thicker, so most times I had to slice through it twice with the X-Acto knife in order for it to go all the way through. But once I did get through all of it, and I now have a giant stack of like 32 pieces of watercolor paper, I'm a little intimidated. You know, it's crazy to think that at the end of a month, all of these will have an artwork on them. And that's just kind of wild to think, but at the same time I'm kind of excited. It's just, you know, in less than a month I'll have done 31 pieces of art, and that's pretty cool. As you can see here, like, you can see just how thick of a stack of paper I've got. And I opted for watercolor because I think I might be using some India inks with my Micron pens. Ooh. And so here I am starting the planning phase. I decided to include my little October calendar spread. I'm not really a serious Bujo kind of person, a bullet journal kind of person. I do like watching bullet journal plan with me and stuff. I only do a monthly spread inside of my sketchbook just because I like to have one book carried around with me. And as you can see here, I plan out my videos for that month on my Monday column. And yeah, so you'll notice that prompts 1 through 5 come out September 30th on my YouTube channel. So if you do the math, you'll realize that that means I'm going to be doing most of the prompts the week before they're technically supposed to be done, but I'm going to be uploading them in the correct consecutive order. I just wanted to get a head start on Inktober, so that by the time October 31st rolls around, I can do an Inktober flip through and have it ready and be uploaded. So here I made a list of all 31 prompts. I just wanted to have it right there and convenient because I take my sketchbook everywhere with me. I don't want like a million different notebooks to carry with me, one with lists and one with my agenda and then one in my sketchbook. I just do it all in my sketchbook. It doesn't bother me. So I decided to do some thumbnailing in my sketchbook, as you can see. So I'll kind of walk you through my thought process on this. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where YouTubers talk about burnout about halfway through the month because 31 days straight is a lot. And so my big idea was, let's go ahead and do some pre-sketches throughout September so that way when it hits, I'm ready to go. I don't have to sit down, come up with an idea, and then finish an illustration. In theory, I get to that day where I had to do that drawing, and then I look at my little pre-sketches I did, see if anything there rings a bell, and then I just go and make, the final piece, the final illustration with it. That way I'm not just starting every day with a blank piece of paper. I've already have some sketches established, and I can roll with that, if that makes sense. One of my my other ideas is, because I'm recording and drawing most of these things ahead of time and not doing them the day of, that gives me time to, if there's one day where I want to do 2 or 3 of these Inktober drawings, then go for it. If there's a day I just want to take a break and I'm doing other things somewhere else in life, that day, then I can do that too. So just as long as I have those 7 prompts done by the day that I need to upload the video, then I'll be good to go. This is my first time doing Inktober, so maybe that's why I'm taking so many precautions. And it's a little tough because the first time I'm ever doing Inktober, I'm also doing it for my YouTube, and in order to create consistent content, and so I have that I have that accountability. That's an added layer of pressure to make sure I get these drawings done. So there are benefits to that as well as a few cons. Because pressure can be good and pressure can be bad. So I'm going to walk you through some of my pre-sketch ideas here, just so you can get an idea of my thought process. This first one was ring, and of course my first thought was, oh, a ring you put on your finger. And then I thought of, oh, when you have a ringing in your ears, or when people say my ears are ringing, that usually means people are gossiping about you. So I had that idea of having a person with a bunch of mouths and surrounding them, whispering. And then, as I was filming this, I suddenly got the idea of, a phone ringing. So, that's that. Draw this little phone doodle. I'll obviously be talking a lot more in depth about which one I do end up doing in the video that I draw in. The second one is mindless, so I have the idea of having a head that opens up and there's just nothing in there. And then my other idea was to do a lost poster, you have your lost dog, it's a lost brain. And then there was bait. I had a harder time with this one, so I drew a face where their lips are being stretched into a smile with fish hooks, and then a mermaid hanging out on the fish hook. Freeze, I thought of the police officer shouting, freeze, and then a burglar putting their hands up. And then also the iceberg where you see the top of it, and then the bottom that's under the water. We have build, I did a couple of cityscape things and then some Legos. Nothing too crazy, I was just kind of getting my ideas onto paper and just seeing what came to fruition from that. here you can see how I'm going to lay out the other weeks where I have 7 prompts as opposed to just 5. So you can see I just put 4 on one page and then 3 on the other page. I don't finish this one for this video, but I'm going to continue on with this. I didn't want to show you guys all of my pre-sketches, so that way I want you guys to still be surprised as my Inktober videos come out, so I didn't want to show you everything I have done. Just some of it, just so you can get an idea of my workflow and my plan. Alright, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week with the first installment of the Inktober video series. So yeah, see you next week with yet another riveting art video. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting me, make sure to check out all the links in my description. I have a Redbubble where you can buy prints of my art as well as t-shirts with my art on it. Also, check out my website where you can buy stickers, buttons, and custom macrame.